So
Right?
somebody guys scored band 8.5. Oh, you scored the same way I did, Leslie. Yeah, Leslie. Yeah. Okay. In the end, the reason for this recording is to get an idea of what that sounds like in the speaking test. Okay. Right, Leslie?
Uh, I think I'm speechless right now
Yeah.
because I because of the
Yeah.
pressure, people will think that I got a band 8.5 source speaking, and then they
Mm-hmm.
will say, "Oh my God, she got an 8.5, and she has a lot of grammatical mistakes." Charot.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's all. It's not yet the end of your IELTS. It's not yet the end of your IELTS endeavor. It's still the IELTS. So Leslie, for this first part, just a few questions about yourself. Easy, easy peasy.
Mhm.
And okay, sige, let's run off your hometown script. So could you tell me about your hometown?
I am from Maribeles, Bataan, and I've been living there ever since I was born. We are actually situated in a peninsula, and to be specific, the town I'm currently living in right now was on a dead end because we are surrounded by bodies of water.
Okay. And what would you suggest a visitor should see in your hometown?
The most famous tourist attraction in my hometown right now was the Five Fingers Cove. And it actually was called that way because when you look at this specific piece of land from afar, you would notice that it looked almost like a human finger or human
Mhm.
fingers.
Okay. What can visitors do
Mm.
in those in that cove?
Um, they can do a variety of things depending on what cove they would choose to go first. For some, they choose to do the cliff diving first, and then they would go snorkeling, and then they for their final stop they would be taking pictures on this piece of rock. It's called the Nagbintana Arc,
Mhm.
and it was actually a very good rock formation, and then beside it you can see ang tawag dun? You can see I
Is that
forgot the
English?
term for this.
Anong tawag dun? Is that English? Okay. All right.
uh
Whatever.
Beside
Okay.
it you have it's like an underground cave, but it's
Mhm.
just a smaller version, not like the one you see in Palawan.
Okay. Have you ever tried any of these attractions yourself?
Unfortunately, since I would prefer to stay at home, I haven't actually been to Corregidor and to all the famous attractions here in my hometown.
Hmm. You're kidding me. You've never been to Corregidor?
I've
Come
never been
on.
to Corregidor, even though it's just I think an hour away
Oh, you
from
can
my
swing it, you know.
residence.
Okay. All right. Cliff diving. I wonder how that would look like. Let's talk about traditional arts or music. Do you have some of those in your hometown?
I um well that's a tough question, but my hometown or the local government is actually trying to inculcate a sense of pride and belongingness to all its citizens. And to do so, the government decided to create songs specifically
Mm.
for the province of Bataan. And these songs actually revolve on a main theme about the valor and the
Mhm.
holiness, or it's God-fearing people, I guess. Ha? Mali, ano ba yun?
Okay, whatever. Okay. And do you think this will be effective for tourists?
Well, I think it can be very attractive for tourists because, for example, visitors will have the chance to experience the culture of Bataan firsthand, and the type of beat and the music. and the artistic lyrics being put into the song for Bataan was actually impressive because it was created by Maestro Ryan Cayabyab.
Really? Okay. And do you have many foreign visitors who go to your hometown?
Mm, I think we during this pandemic we only had a few
Mhm,
foreign visitors here in my hometown. But I remember a scenario when we were celebrating our Liberation Day.
mhm,
That was around 2 years ago before
mhm,
the pandemic as actually started. And I felt proud because people here in Mariveles would just pass by the drum and bugle and the street show. But for a foreigner, the all the commotion in my community that time was really um was new to his sight, so I he decided to take a video of that.
I see. It was a parade.
It was a parade. It's actually a month-long celebration. We have food stalls everywhere. We have a lot of pageants and contests on the
Mm,
side.
mhm.
It's really a festive mood during
Okay,
our Liberation Day.
I see. Do you think it's worth the money to spend on all of this?
Um, well, I think it would be depending on your priority. Other
Mhm,
people would really like to immerse themselves in the different cultures available in their country or across the globe. But if you would be a very frugal person,
mhm,
especially since a lot of I forgot the term for this, the tour services, a lot of them
mhm,
charge a hefty amount of money just for you to be able to go to a specific place. They would make large markups from that, and this may cost you a fortune. And if you're not really prepared to do so, I think you
mhm,
will, or you may just end up being disappointed.
Okay, it'll cost you an arm and a leg. Okay. All
Ang
right.
hirap
And
naman, sir. Kailangan mo mag-English eh. Tapos na nga.
okay, very nice. I heard
Nakaka-conscious
frugal.
tuloy
I
eh.
heard hefty. And then wait. So you're saying it's better to go without any tour services?
Um, I don't know, but if you would just be staying at a specific place for a
Mhm,
limited amount of time, I suggest that you choose a tour service because they are already aware of the different tourist spots in a specific location, and
mhm,
they would be able to manage your time very well for you. However,
mhm,
if you have the leniency of the time and you would
mhm.
be staying in a specific spot for a few days, then you
Yeah.
can just roam around the town for yourself.
Mm, okay. The leniency of time. All right. And how has tourism changed in your hometown?
Ito pinaghandaan ko to, sir.
Mhm.
My mother
Let's hear.
used to tell me that my hometown was originally a swamped piece of land. And currently, since we already have a lot of factories and a lot of our nature-related tourist attractions are now being discovered,
Mhm,
tourism the tourism sector has noticed a great jump or a boost,
mhm,
and people from other parts of Bataan are actually availing of tour services just to be able to experience Mariveles Bataan.
Okay, it's better now.
I think it's better now. Ay, parang ganyan, sir, di ba? Parang naiiba yung sagot ko. Tapos, yung
Mm.
examiner, may tinanong siya ulit na follow-up. Ganun.
I see. That's how it was. Okay. All right. Okay. So now I'd like you to talk about the topic. And before you talk, you have, I forgot to ask you to get a piece of paper.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on. There. You're still throwing the vocabs, right? Still there.
Sir,
Yeah, it's still there. Ooh, one of your two dogs is barking. Two dogs or two
Milo.
cats. There. Ooh, Milo.
Ayan si
Milo.
Milo.
Okay. All right. Okay, can you see my screen, Leslie?
Yes, sir.
All right. So 1 minute for this, Leslie. Ready? Time starts now.
Sir, my screen shows Einstein has started screen sharing, but I am yet
You
to
don't
see
see
the
anything.
picture or the question. Yes, sir.
Boy.
Still loading.
Dito ba nakatira si Gloria? Hindi mo na bahala ko.
Okay.
Uh,
There. Can you see it now? Mariveles as we speak.
Hello, sir.
We're in Mariveles as we speak.
Yes. Anong kailangan nila?
Sino ba yung may narinig ako? Ako ba
Oh,
yun?
wait. Akala ko ikaw yun.
Nandito siya. Ano kami kahapon? Born ka na siya natin.
Okay, yan. Minute
Ayan.
ka lang si Kim. Okay. Ready? 1 minute. Time starts now.
Ano ba yan?
Memorable event in your life.
Okay. For the purpose of this
Wait.
conversation.
You're not gonna go with the 1 minute anymore. Let's go with the 2 minutes already.
Sige, sir.
Okay.
Try ko lang.
Sige.
Well, ano ba to? For the record, na-pressure naman ako. Hindi ko din alam. Siguro by luck din and by doing drills that I was
Hindi.
able to get an 8.5. Sabihin nila, ba't naman ito? Naka 8.5 pa.
Hindi. Even without preparation.
Okay na.
Okay.
Okay
So
na.
remember,
Okay,
you have
sir.
2 minutes.
I'll try.
So don't worry if I stop you. Time starts now.
For the purpose of this conversation, I think I would tell you about the time when I won first place for the feature writing competition for the division of Bataan. So the event actually took place in I think it was in Camacho National High School. They hosted the event for all the students across the Bataan. And what happened exactly prior to this was that I was attempting to join our school organization just to be able to compete in this division, in this said division schools press conference. However, I noticed that my teachers favored some of the students way more than me because I was the non-famous type. I would just sit on the corner and I would tend to get unnoticed. And so when they needed a substitute for the features writing conference, which was to be held around a few days ago or 2 to 3 days ago at that time, um they spoke to themselves and then they decided that they would just include me because someone told them that I am equipped to represent the school. And so this event was really memorable for me because I did not get an enough opportunity or chance to actually train for the feature writing competition. So I just wrote my heart out the entire duration of the written exam, and I wasn't really expecting to win, but fortunately, I think the heavens has actually prepared my fate for me, and I turned out winning the only first place award for the school during
Thank
that
you,
time,
Leslie.
and so everyone was
Thanks, Leslie. It's a good thing you were
okay.
able to get to the end of that story. You won a feature writing competition.
Yes, sir.
What did you write about in this competition?
If I remember it correctly, they instructed us to write about the oil spill that happened in Manila. I think that was the year 2007 or 9. But hindi ko matandaan, sir. Basta may oil spill na nangyari.
Tagalog.
Sorry. So we had an oil spill. I think that was in Manila Bay. And so it was really surprising. I think all the contestants were caught off guard because
Mhm.
they were expecting to write just a typical feature story or feature article. However, the events organizers decided that they will just give us a news article and then we would turn it
Mm.
into
Oh,
a feature format.
all right. What did you
Yeah.
get for winning this?
Nothing.
What?
I managed to
A medal.
I think my teachers or the head of the school organization eventually, I don't know, they try to compensate for all the heartaches they have given me. And so when
Mm.
I graduated, they gave me the Writer of the Year award, even
Mm.
though I was initially rejected by the school paper. True story
Mm.
yun, sir. It was really disheartening for me because I am a very passionate writer, and I
Mhm.
felt like what was the purpose of the elimination exam if they will not choose the winners?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yun.
All right. So we've been talking about a memorable event. Leslie, when was this again? You were in grade school, correct? High school.
High school, sir.
Okay. So Leslie, why do you think there are certain events in our life that we remember so vividly, but others we can barely remember?
I think certain events hold much sentimental value for us. In my case, I needed to overcome a lot of hurdles and struggles just to be able to get that coveted first place award. And so, um, other experiences just come in passing because they don't really hold much water for us.
Oh.
And I guess that's it. It depends. It really depends on the value the person places on a specific experience.
Okay. They don't hold much water, like a pitcher. Okay. So nice. They don't hold much water. The argument doesn't hold much water, meaning it's a soft, weak something, whatever that is. Okay. And do you think our memories are reliable?
Well, at first, I thought our memory is indeed reliable. However, during the course of my IELTS reading drill, I have read about an article saying that our memories um our memories are actually composed of a variety of things. For
Mm-hmm.
example, our personal interpretation to a scenario, and
Yeah.
then our own biases as well. So
Yeah.
no one can really say that their memory is reliable.
Okay. All right. And uh, how do you think we can remember better?
I think the person trying to learn something should first identify his, I don't know the term for this. I think it's his learning technique. For example, in my case,
Mm-hmm.
I am a very visual learner. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me to be able to grasp all the concepts, I need to be able to read it. Or for example, if the other person would prefer looking at a certain situation personally before trying to imitate it, or if they would like to listen to a clip,
Mm-hmm.
it would depend on them or their preference.
Okay. Let's talk about events or ceremonies. Uh, what are the kind of ceremonies that you have in your country?
That's a very interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
Since we are an archipelagic nation, we
Mm-hmm.
actually have a variety of cultures. We have the typical religious ceremonies for the wedding and the burial, but we also have a lot of festivities and events
Mm-hmm.
for farming and what else, and the other typical uh, day-to-day life of
Mm-hmm.
of the of its citizens. For example, we have I think is it the pinik ayoko na nga baka mali. Ano ba yun yung the
I don't
chicken
understand
festival?
Tagalog.
I'm not sure if it's a it's a chicken festival, and then they would I
Mm-hmm.
forgot the term for it, but they would kill. It's a ceremony where they would kill
Mm-hmm.
a chicken in
Mm-hmm.
celebration of all the bountiful harvest for the year round.
Okay, that's so brutal. Anyway, and how important are ceremonies in our lives?
Mm, Again, as I've mentioned earlier, I think it would be depending on the preferences or the values formation of the person undergoing the ceremony. For example, a very religious person would take much
Mm,
premium on being able to be wedded on
mm,
a local church.
mm,
However, a more secular person may find it
mhm.
okay to just uh, have his marriage officiated by a lawyer or a judge.
Okay, a secular person. Hmm. Okay, they would place a premium. Is that like gasoline? Premium gasoline joke. Anyway, and do you see the ceremonies that we practice? Do you see these changing into the future?
Well, I am not sure am the right person to answer this, but
Mhm.
personally, since most of our festivities are being brought online, so we might see less of the street parades we usually see, especially because of the advent of the pandemic. The
Mm,
people doesn't want to go out anymore, and they find it safer and easier to just watch ceremonies online rather than just
mm,
rather than having to go into person
okay.
for the said event.
All right. Let's talk about marriage ceremonies. Uh, do you see that changing? Has it changed? Oh, you did mention about that, right? The secular person.
Ah, yes, sir.
Okay.
Um, I was raised in a conservative family, and so for
Mhm.
us, marriage should only be for a man and a woman. But currently, as
Mm,
we see
yeah.
on different news outlets across the globe, a lot of countries
Mhm.
are now legalizing same-sex marriages,
Yeah.
and other unions actually, I don't know if this is true, but they would go as far as to marrying an inanimate object. I think there was a certain person in Japan who
Mhm.
married his car and was
Okay.
allowed to do so. I don't know if that's a real
All right.
story.
Yeah. When they ask the car, do you take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband? And then the car goes beep beep. Okay. All right. An inanimate object. Okay. And do you think men and women feel differently about marriage?
I think the I think the male population tend to be more relaxed when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to marriage. And
Mm-hmm.
as we see online, we now have a lot of prenuptial events like
Mm-hmm.
the prenuptial photo shoot, the same day edits, and I think most men
Mm-hmm.
uh, are just doing it just to make their partners happy. But
Okay,
when
you're
I talk
saying
to
that men are just obligate. They're just, what's that word that you use? They're just obliged to do this.
obliged, I
Yeah.
think they are also happy to be part of the
Mm.
unnecessary hocus pocus and the same day
Unnecessary
edits
focus
and the
focus.
expensive
Yeah.
prenuptial photo shoots. But I guess
Mm-hmm.
they just wanted to make the event or the memory special for
Mm-hmm.
their woman.
I see. So you're
So
saying it's the women who want this.
I think so because I've asked my husband about this in the past, and then he
Okay.
told me, sabi niya, for me it's not really important if you would have an expensive wedding. What
Mm-hmm.
matters is that I love you,
Yeah,
and
what
I
a
will
nice
never
answer.
exchange you for the
Band
world. Eh.
9. Yeah,
Mukha
that's
mo,
that's
nagtitipid ka lang eh.
tipid. That's all unnecessary hocus pocus. All right. And then wait, why is it that more and more people nowadays choose not to get married? Because the important thing is you love each other.
Um, I actually wrote an article about this
Mhm.
in one of my writing drills for Sir Juni. And
You
di
did.
ba, sir? I remember. And I think
Mm,
people a lot of people nowadays are trying to avoid wedlock because
Wedlock. Mhm,
it would get a lot of time for you to be able to
mhm,
understand and know the person very well.
mhm,
And because of the high divorce rates and
mhm,
the domestic abuses being recorded, I think it is deterring a lot of women from
mhm.
actually entering into marriage. So because what's the
Deterring.
point of
Mhm,
yeah, what's the point of getting married if you
mhm.
can just cohabitate, right?
Cohabitate. Okay. So are you saying that it's better to stay single?
I think that would depend on the preference again of the
Mhm,
person
mhm.
because
You have
if you are
ambivalent
someone
opinions about this.
I have an ambivalent opinions about that question, sir.
Okay.
But I think if you, I think if you
Yeah, throw on the vocabs. Yeah.
ayun na nga nalito na nga ako ano ba yun? I think if you are a family oriented type of person and then you can settle and get married and then if you are like her evangelista who is a socialite and would like to live her life to the fullest and then
Mhm.
I think it would be fair enough to stay single.
Okay. So why don't we have anymore the stigma of women who choose not to get married like we did in the past?
I think it's because of the shift in gender roles. So
Mm,
gender roles and responsibilities nowadays tend to be very fluid. A husband can already stay at home and take care of the kids while
mm,
the woman is working for the family. And
mhm,
so I think the in general the society is more open to the fact that families are different and you cannot just put the
mhm.
definition of how a family should be based on the experience of another.
Okay. So it's okay for the house husband to uh to be a trend.
I'm so
That's okay for
I
you.
I think it's okay for me. I don't find an issue with that. It
Mhm,
depends on the monetary priorities of um, the husband and wife, and if they
mhm,
feel like the wife can be earning more for the family by
mhm,
working, and then I think the husband can stay at home.
Okay. All right, Leslie. That's
Yes,
the end
sir.
of our speaking test.
Ang hirap naman ng speaking test mo, sir. Parang mas mahirap pa yung sa'yo.
No, I was just curious. No, those were the actual questions that were here. I just added a bit. Okay.
Ayun.
About the changing times. When more and more people decide against marriage. Okay, so before I cut the recording, last year we had two band nines, two band 8.5s, and 10 band 8 people. That was last year, 2021. I never really got to count those who scored 7.5. What a pity. And then, so far this year, today is April 7. We haven't had a band 9 yet. We have had two band 8.5s, Leslie being one of them. And then we have already had four band 8s and four band 7.5s. So there. Okay. We're still looking for the band 9 for this year. Anyway, it's still early. Thanks,
Thank you,
Leslie.
Sir Juni. Thank you so much.
Yeah, hold on,
Super hindi
guys.
kita makakalimutan.
Yeah, we won't forget you. I won't forget you, Leslie. Yeah, and then I'm gonna look you up and I'm gonna ask for that MacBook. Joke. Joke.
Grabe siya.
Hold on. I'll stop the recording.